Hello and welcome to the Codex Prime podcast. We are on episode 111, and it is Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. I am your host, Victor Omoayo, and with me as always is my co-host and social media chair, Carl Byrd.
What's good, y'all? Yes,
indeed, man. We are just 2 days away from March Madness. Is that a thing? Is that like a sports thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna get bougie and act like you don't know what it is?
Yeah, is that the phenomenon where people get like mad about college basketball or something?
It's a college basketball tournament.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No one cares, but
you'd be surprised. Like, yo, the people doing the March Madness brackets, they gonna win.
Yeah, I mean,
and they have big prizes for perfect brackets.
Oh, really?
Like, I know one company I keep forgetting, but they do like $1 billion prize if you have the perfect bracket, because it's virtually impossible to have a perfect bracket.
Okay, impossible because
you have to, they have all the teams listed as for the tournament bracket, and you have to match the exact outcome with all these different schools. I want to say maybe 32 or more. And each winner, you have to match each winner to get it. Virtually impossible. I literally lose within the first two games.
Okay. Now, I suspect that money is involved in these bracket things.
Some people gamble and stuff.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, if money is involved, I do find it ironic because, as you know, college athletes don't see one dime of that money, and that's one reason why sports is so damn overrated in this culture. That you got student athletes that bust their ass, and yet they don't see one dime of that money, and yet you have college coaches making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Come on,
the
now.
NCAA is like $1 billion business.
Exactly, and it's unjust, and that's why I for one advocate that college athletic programs and sports should be shut down.
I wouldn't do all that. I would say because it leads to bigger and better opportunities for them to go to the pros.
I mean, the odds are so high, though.
That's basically what it is. It's like developmental. But what they can do is for the kids who don't get drafted is just put them in they can go to the XFL. Or any other leagues, or they have their other developmental leagues.
Yeah,
where they don't make as much, but they're still playing.
Okay, so one of them Pop Warner leagues or whatever it's called.
Not Pop Warner, but more like a developmental league.
Okay, all right, cool.
The NBA has one, MLB has one, NFL doesn't.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So maybe those who don't make it into the NFL can actually they can go to the XFL when it comes out.
Oh, cool. The XFL is something of interest. I'm pretty sure maybe the Cowboys should transfer to the XFL and they can win something.
Shut your face. Shut your face.
But yeah, we are. But yes, it's February 27th, and since we are at the tail end of Black History Month, we're going to talk about black heroes and black superheroes and villains and black nerd culture, favorite heroes and whatnot, comics, video games.
Even ones we don't like.
Yeah, even ones we don't like. Yeah, we'll throw it all in there, And as always, you can be part of the conversation if you join us on our Facebook group chat, since we are live. And if you're listening on SoundCloud after the fact or watching us after the fact, then you can email us at codexprimepodcast@gmail.com. So with all that, got a few things to talk about. So, Carl, what have you been up to, first of all?
This was my girlfriend's daughter's birthday party this weekend.
Yeah.
So, happy third birthday to her. Happy birthday, Jazzy. She watches. She says we're famous and we're on TV. But Jesus Christ, I do not want to hear anything else of Trolls ever again. It was the Trolls theme, and it was just everywhere.
Yeah, the movie, the music.
Everything. Yes, I'm so done.
I hear that, man.
Done.
Yeah.
At
least it wasn't Frozen.
I had to play the Let It Go song.
Aw.
Yeah, I DJ too, so all them kitty songs, they were played. But one thing I will say, you probably might find taking a liking to this. So she started watching wrestling a bit.
Okay.
She mainly likes two entrances. Mm-hmm. Demon Finn Balor, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Because she likes the whole arms in the air thing. Mm-hmm. And she likes Bailey.
Oh, of course. Nice.
Like she knows the words to the song already.
Wow.
Like she sung lyrics to the song like I didn't even notice that were there.
Wow. She likes the wacky waving inflatable tube.
Oh, she freaking loves it. She loves it.
That's cool. That's nice. I like that.
So I figured Bailey would be appropriate. Like she watched the Elimination Chamber, which we'll get into in a bit.
Yep.
And she caught it like it was the start of the show, so she caught that just in time before I got into work. So yeah, and also, oh my God, see, I'm sitting there. I want to get into this. So I want to get into this, but I'm over here sharing. But I came across an article, which is an interview with Quincy Jones by Vulture magazine.
Oh, okay. I heard about that one.
Oh my God, he said some shit. And at this point, he's 84. You know, he's turning 85 next month. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's turning 85 this month. And like, dude just don't give a fuck. He don't care about anything. He just says it. So like, they were asking him about, you know, people that he's worked with. Of course, you know, he was the producer behind Thriller.
Yeah, of course.
Thriller.
Yeah. The greatest record of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was actually saying, like, tell us something about Michael Jackson that, you know, nobody would know. And he said, yo, Michael stole a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he was saying, like, Greg Gaines actually wrote the C section to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and he didn't give him a percentage.
Ouch.
So, and of course, he goes into, like, he knew what was behind, you know, he knew who was behind the whole John F. Kennedy assassination.
So he says.
You know something? Like I said, he was around like certain. Gee, I don't really mess my computer up. But anyway, like he knew that Sam Giancana. I hope I'm saying this right. He was a Chicago mobster, and he was actually behind it, saying that the Chicago mob actually helped Kennedy get the votes for Illinois, and apparently Kennedy didn't live up to his end of the bargain. So I've heard that other people like supported this theory. So it's a theory he's going, but that's just what he said. I'll even post the article on our Facebook.
Yeah, it sounds like a conspiracy theory to me.
Possibly. One thing I did think about you when he said this too, and he's like, "Oh, today's music," he feels that it's just lazy and looped. Also with film scores.
Really?
Yeah. So that's what made me think of you when you always say, like, for instance, you always say that Marvel just doesn't have memorable film scores. You're the only person I know who actually does take the time out to listen to film scores. So I'm like, what are your thoughts about that? How they feel it's just lazy and loop compared to like, you know, when he was around doing his thing.
I mean, with the film scores, there's some truth in that because that reminds me of a video that I watched from every frame of painting from Tony Zhu, and he had a video just on that. How there are so many popular movies that use very similar sounding scores or temp tracks for their movies, like a temporary track that they lay down during editing, and then so they can replace it with an actual score. But the problem is that the actual score sounds too much like the temp track, and it all sounds very similar. And they just change a couple instruments around. Right. Yeah, and you see that a lot in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. Yeah,
and also one thing he said too is like Marlon Brando, legendary actor. He's like, I'm not going to get into too much detail about this, but he said, listen, he fucked everybody.
Oh, yeah. I read about that. Like, he fucked Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Was that what you were alluding to last week?
No, because I didn't read the article until, like, a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay. I mean, I mean, it's Marlon Brando, so I could believe that.
Yeah, I didn't know really too much about Marlon Brando's like personal life, but yeah, he was like,
Yeah, real horn dog.
yeah.
Hey, I mean,
But it's a really very interesting article. I actually recommend everybody just go ahead and read that, especially if you're a fan of music. And like I said, Quincy Jones has been in the game for what, 50, 60 years?
yeah, but
You know,
50 years.
Like I said, he produced Thriller, Off the Wall, Bad, so many like hits. I mean, he has like I think a total of like 25 Grammys,
Yep.
8 in one night with Thriller.
Yep.
So I mean, he's been around the greats. He's been around them all. Also, another thing he was saying that is like the Beatles, like they were shitty musicians. He was saying like I think his name was Paul Allen, the Microsoft guy, was like a better musician than all of them.
Wow. You know, have you ever listened to any Beatles records?
The usual ones, Come Together, Let It Be, the ones that you hear on like
Light Rock 105 or
Five
something.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I've listened to a couple of their albums, and like, I mean,
generic as fuck.
I wouldn't go so far as to say generic, but I mean, I could say that I respect their contributions more than I actually like their music.
I would say the same. I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably say "Come Together" is my favorite Beatles song, mainly because Michael Jackson covered it.
Yeah, on History.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they released it on History, but he did it like in the '80s for Moonwalker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What did you think of Moonwalker, by the way?
Moonwalker, was it the movie?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when I was a kid. But now when I look at it, I'm like, this is cheesy, but I still like it.
No, it is. I still like it. I'm like, you know something? Like the whole Smooth Criminal thing, him turning into a robot at the end, which I thought was dope.
Yeah.
For its time. I'm just like, yo, this was basically just a long ass music video.
It really
They were
was.
really just all music videos.
It were. It was like music videos as short films.
Films, yeah.
Yeah. And, oh man, do you remember the arcade game in the Sega Genesis version?
Had it.
Yeah.
Had it. And now that I got the Sega system, I want to get another copy.
Yeah.
Shoot, give me a gift card. I'm about to ball out at Toy Vault.
Yeah, man. How much is it? Because I'm sure it's a rare item, Moonwalker.
You'll probably find it for cheap.
Okay. Yeah, man. That was a game that made the most of the Sega Genesis sound system.
Yeah, because you hear 16-bit versions of your favorite songs.
Yeah.
Except that they had a level for Thriller, and they didn't use Thriller.
That's right.
They used
didn't.
another part of me, and I'm like, why not? Like, he wrote Thriller.
Yeah. That was so weird.
Actually, no, he didn't write Thriller. That's probably why he didn't do it.
Maybe. Yeah, royalties and all that. Got to pay the songwriters.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, other than that, the same thing. We're going to get into the recent episode of Walking Dead that apparently people still watch.
Yeah, apparently, Meg. I'll let you take it away because for me, this was not enough for me to get back into the show.
I can understand why. I mean, I would say Glenn's death, and maybe I'm saying this because of the timing of when it happened. It just feels like it was a desperate ploy to like because they have lost viewers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it was like a desperate move to bring viewership back. It's like, oh my God, we're gonna kill Carl, who was a major character throughout the entire series. Like this was a character that we literally saw Chandler Riggs grow up before our very eyes. I think he was like 10 when the series started.
Yep.
And now he's like 18, getting ready to go to college.
Yeah,
So
man.
I mean, I think they did it was pretty sad, but I think it was sad. But of course, it was going to draw out the entire episode.
Yeah.
Like there was like like 2 moments when that I actually felt something. Like I felt more for Glenn's death than I did for Carl's.
Yeah.
You know, and actually liked Carl as a character. Like I actually seen him like mature and they actually mentioned that in the episode where he was talking about, if you remember, like a couple of seasons back, how he just randomly killed that one kid who was like literally just putting his gun down and surrender, and he just popped him.
Yeah.
And Herschel was telling him not to. Mm-hmm. Well, but he was telling, he finally admitted it to his father, and he was like, "Listen, that I held that guilt every day since."
Wow.
So, but and it just showed like how much how much the character has matured. And then he was having that special moment with Michonne saying like, "Yo, you are my best friend," and all that. And they did form that relationship too, especially when they were when they left Terminus.
Yeah.
When everybody got separated, them two were together, so they did form that bond, and they basically stood together ever since. And then so then, like, finally at the end, where they found the abandoned church, and he was like, "Listen, I got to do this. I don't want you to, pull the plug on me. I got to do it." So then you just see Rick and Michonne sitting outside, and then next thing you know, you just hear the silencer go up, pss, boom, and they just broke down. So in a way, I was like, "Damn, like he's really gone."
Yeah. That's wow. So I believe that Carl's death was because I remember that watching the I think it was either last season or this season's premiere where like there was like a flash forward of like a gray-haired Rick Grimes.
Yeah, it turns out it was all Carl's vision.
Oh, it was Carl's vision.
Yeah.
Oh, of what he imagined the future would be.
Right.
Okay. Oh. So with Carl's death, do you think that this would make Walking Dead worth watching, worth following again, or is it just one of those, or does it fall into the typical Walking Dead pattern?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like it's just a moment. Yeah, just a moment, and it's gonna fall into like you said, that traditional Walking Dead pattern. Okay, we got a good mid season premiere. Now we're gonna get a bunch of filler, and then just hit you with a good one for the finale.
Wow. So 4 good episodes out of, and the rest is filler, and the 16 episode season.
Yes.
Dang. I saw the moment, like the couple of moments from the episode on Twitter that people posted, and I also posted an article on our Facebook page.
I did see it, but I didn't get a chance to look into it.
Yeah, it was a really interesting article from Forbes, which it says that The Walking Dead made one terrible mistake that it can't walk away from.
And what was that?
And by killing Carl, it's like they killed in some ways the conscience of the show, and B, since Carl is such an integral character in the comics, and it's like in the show, it's like Carl's story didn't feel complete. Like you felt that like whenever The Walking Dead would end eventually, that it would be Carl who would actually
lead the pack. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Lead the pack and then like tell the story of like how they got there. But now it feels like a cheap and desperate ploy from the showrunners to get people back on the wagon. And it's like I could see why I forgot who wrote that article for Forbes. I could see why he said that because when you think about it, you had Glenn's death, which was really impactful, and then since then, what did you have? You had Sasha, who died, and she died in heroic fashion.
Correct.
But then you have what other deaths you had? You had Shiva, the tiger.
They weren't memorable.
Yeah.
Like I don't think. Yeah, I can't really even remember any of them.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like, okay, I mean, I didn't realize this, but there's only 3 original cast members from season 1 left. Like, there's Rick Grimes, Daryl, and Carol.
Carol, yeah.
That's it. And people have said that, oh, well, if they kill off Daryl, then, oh my God, you killed the show. No, the show's been dead. You might as well get rid of Daryl anytime.
At this point, yeah, but I think they're going to save him for the end.
Yeah, probably.
Because killing off Daryl will definitely be just the nail. It definitely would be the nail of the coffin.
Yeah, it's like when you kill a character too beloved and it just tanks the show completely. Like New York Undercover, how they did.
Did
Michael DeLorenzo. Oh my god! When it killed Eddie Torres, they killed New York Undercover.
They did. They did. I mean, I posted about. I made a post about it. Just like it was just the cast of New York Undercover, like now.
Yeah.
And they said, listen, if she doesn't remember these three, she's too young for you.
Yeah.
And they were like, and somebody actually commented, yo, I remember when they went to the Boys and Girls Club years ago when the show was hot. And I'm like, wow, I missed it, but
wow,
that's how impactful that show was when they were able to do like that. The cast members were doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I would love to see a New York Undercover. Not reboot, but just like something with the original cast members one more time, like a movie or something on Netflix at least.
Man, you can watch that episode of Unsung when they talked about the show. You'd be good.
Okay.
They tell you the story behind it.
Yeah. Did it end on bad terms or something?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I mean, we saw that in the fourth and final season. I mean, with Thomas Michael Ford, rest in peace. I mean, taking over, it's like, nah, man, you're still Tommy Strong from Martin.
Yep. Yeah, Tommy, and you still ain't got no job.
Yep. Or maybe that was his job, and that's why he couldn't tell people about it on Martin. But yeah, man, Walking Dead, man. I want to say that this show's on its last legs.
It definitely is. You can say that. Like, seriously, like.
But I really do see the showrunners dragging it out for literally 5 more seasons.
I thought it was going for only 10.
Yeah, I think they're on season 8 right now, right?
Yeah.
But I think that they're gonna drag it out and say, that, "Oh, we have ideas for more seasons beyond season 10." They're gonna do something. They're gonna like Days of Our Lives this show.
Yeah. Quincy Thomas says Deezus and Mara are trying to get a reboot of New York Undercover.
Oh, okay.
It'll be more, with them two, then it would just be more of a comedy, which ain't bad.
Yeah, Deezus and Mero.
Oh, you never heard of the Bodega Boys podcast?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty big. You should check them out.
Okay. So yeah, Walking Dead. What did you think of the episode? Carl dying, Coral, no more of that.
Yeah,
Let us know.
I mean, it's because of that show. That's how people choose to pronounce my name.
Andrew Lincoln, Coral, stay back.
But it was sad. I'm just like, wow. I mean, like, it was in a way sad because I'm like, wow, we really like watched this kid grow up.
Yeah, Chandler Riggs.
Like they should, like, if you really look back, just watch the first episode.
Yeah, he was
a little guy. He was like I said, he was probably like 10.
Yeah. And now he's off to college. And you know what? Good on Chandler Riggs, man. Get your education, man.
But I think he actually said that he was going to try to balance both. Because Walking Dead is pretty much shot in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, and that was one thing that always disappointed me about The Walking Dead too. I would have loved to have seen him try to survive the winter.
Yeah.
They never had that.
They really
haven't. I
haven't.
understand, like, well, most of it took place in Georgia. And it doesn't really snow much down there. I remember they got one sheet of snow and everybody lost their damn mind.
Yep. Oh, man. But
those Rhode Islanders are looking at us like, come on now.
I know. Like, you know what? That reminds me of, like, John Haponic, man. Sometimes he's just a dick about it.
God damn it.
like he'll be like, oh, my God, it's so chilly outside. It's 60 out right now. And it's in January. And we're in January. I'm like, fuck you, man. Oh, man.
Oh, man. So other than that, that's pretty much what I've been up to. What you been up to?
Yeah, what I've been up to, not a whole lot. I got a brief Final Fantasy 15 update. I'm on chapter 9. I leveled my characters from level 42 to 94. Just banked a whole lot of experience and just cashed it all in at once. So I'm on my way to, if I want, I can actually beat the main quest if I wanted to at any time. Nah, there's a couple of side quests I want to do first.
You got hit with the side quest.
That's the whole game, really.
Yeah, I will say this too. I'm like, I finally got a chance to start the last story arc, so I'm trying to at least bang it out tonight and tomorrow, and I'll be done with my 4 in February challenge. And then shout outs to my homegirl Erin from work. She was like, yo, you really need to like Twitch stream it. And that's how I always kept saying that we need to like utilize our Twitch more.
Yeah.
And YouTube, shit, we can have some extra content.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So yeah, still playing Final Fantasy 15. I'm gonna finish that game soon. But like I said, the main story, hopefully it'll finally pick up, and be somewhat memorable. But like Final Fantasy 15 is it's one of those games where it's not really about the story; it's more about the journey, because like the world is so vast and gorgeous looking, and the gameplay is awesome too. So, I can't really knock the game too much, but I will finish it soon. I also watched a movie that came out last week called Annihilation.
Shout outs to Movie Pass.
Yep, big shout outs to Movie Pass. Yes, Annihilation. That movie is a new sci-fi film by Alex Garland. He's the writer director of Ex Machina, also the writer of Dread and 28 Days Later and The Beach with Leo DiCaprio all the way back in '96. This movie stars Annihilation stars Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson, Gina Rodriguez, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Oscar Isaac. And this is a really interesting if flawed sci-fi movie.
Yeah. It sounds like I have a decent cast.
Oh, it does. It does. Like it's a movie where Natalie Portman, she plays a biologist, and she leads this. Well, she's part of this team of this all-female team of scientists, and they go inside this this zone called the Shimmer, and the Shimmer is like this alien phenomenon which comes into existence where this comet crashes onto Earth from outer space. It hits this lighthouse on the coast of some beach in Louisiana, and this comet starts to spread like a cancer off the Gulf of Mexico, and started to spread like all across the country in a big way, and so. Natalie Portman, she plays a character, a biologist who, in the beginning of the film, she finds out that her husband, Oscar Isaac, he's the only he led an original team of researchers and soldiers to investigate this shimmer phenomenon, but he's the only one to come back alive. But when he comes back, he seems to be like a weird. He seems to be like out of it, like he's just not himself. And so Natalie Portman and her team, they go inside this shimmer and they try to figure out what the nature of this alien phenomenon is. And the movie, it's like part sci-fi horror, and it's like, and it's kind of reminds me of like part Arrival, part Prometheus, and also in a big way part Stalker, which is like this old Russian film by Andrei Tarkovsky. And it's like it's a movie sci-fi movie that's more. It's more heady, and it's more like philosophical or psychological rather in its themes, and like how everything comes together. Like it's ultimately like you're not sure what it all means, but it's one of those films that you really gotta sit and think about, like trying to connect all the puzzle pieces together. I thought the film was good. I didn't think it was as engaging as Ex Machina was, but I did appreciate the effort behind this movie. Like I really enjoyed the cinematography, like the lush greenness of like the swamplands that they traveled through. There's some wicked body horror in this movie too. Like there's some violent and disgusting things that occur and that they see, and stuff that happens to the group. Like there's animals that start to transform because of this shimmer. Like different life forms start combining together. Like they face off against this giant albino alligator crocodile thing with like shark teeth. They also come across a bear, which was one of the most horrifying things I've seen in a sci-fi horror movie in quite some time.
A bear?
Yeah, and that's all I'll say. It makes the bear and the Revenant look like Yogi Bear. That's all I'll say about that.
How much scarier can a bear look? Like the bear and the Revenant is as real as a bear can get.
Well, the bear in the Revenant is one thing, but the bear in Annihilation is something else. Something straight out of like your weirdest and darkest nightmares. Also, Jennifer Jason Leigh, like her character is really like it's a really odd character. Like she's just totally like a flat affect throughout the whole film. She just talks like this. She just talks like she's just really bored because it's like, you know what, I'm getting a paycheck, and who really gives a shit about this movie.
Talks like that. It's hilarious.
You know, and it's just like, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm dying. I'm dying, so that's why I'm good. That's why I'm leading this mission. So who cares? That's her performance. And I'm like, damn, man, did you take Xanax before each take? And like Tessa Thompson, she was pretty cool in it as well. And I like to see Tessa Thompson get more work, you know, especially in the sci-fi genre.
Yeah, she's like growing.
Oh yeah, like Creed.
Creed, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not one of your favorites, but she was pretty badass in it.
Oh, she was. Yeah. She was in Dear White People, the movie.
I heard of it, but never got a chance to see it.
It's all right. Like it's a really obvious film. But yeah, Annihilation. Like I said, there's not too much I can get into in terms of like what happens in the plot because like it's one of those movies that you know if I get into the plot any deeper, then it'd be spoiling it. But I would say that it's a film that it has its flaws and that I don't think the story comes together 100%. I think that it's a little too obtuse for its own good. I think that it's not like Arrival, where Arrival was better was had a better execution in terms of a narrative that was more thoughtful and philosophical and made you think. Whereas Annihilation's a little bit more clumsier on that end. But I will say, despite its flaws, I think it's worth seeing, at least at matinee price. I mean, if you have Movie Pass, go see it because you know it's better than watching some popcorn filled garbage that the dummies and the mouth breathers enjoy.
No. Call what are they called?
The popcorn munching, mouth breathing, masturbating.
You change it now. Like,
I mean,
you haven't said it in.
Well,
you haven't said it in a while.
Yeah, but like I said, Annihilation. It's a cool science fiction film. It's worth checking out if you want something a little bit different. If you like sci-fi horror and definitely something more of a slow paced and philosophical themed sci-fi film, check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. And aside from that, we'll get into the Elimination Chamber, which we both checked out.
All right. And shout outs to the Wrestling Fantasy Warfare group, man. Watching pay-per-views and commenting on those threads are hilarious.
Yo, they are hilarious. Although I will say, and I won't name names, there's a couple of thirsty cats on a couple of thirsty cats on the Wrestling Fantasy Warfare threads. Y'all know who you are. Y'all the thirst is real. Drink some water, drink some Aquafina, yo, because you're thirst. You're not just thirsty. You're parched, too parched. But anyway, but yeah, Elimination Chamber. It was a solid pay-per-view, and it opened with the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match, with the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss defending against Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville.
Dope starter.
It was, yeah, I will say I noticed that this year they finally introduced the padding inside the cage, which I think is a welcome change because these athletes kill themselves enough as it is.
Right. But I think you know what it was? It's just like, okay, for the women, I can understand. Mm-hmm. For the men's chamber match, which we'll get into much later on, mm-hmm. that it takes away the scariness of the match. Like if somebody takes a bump on the steel stuff, you felt it. Everybody, it drew more or what are you gonna do next?
Well, to be fair, I will say that the padding looked pretty thin.
I don't think so. It looked pretty thick to me.
But they still can take bumps on the plexiglass and the chains and the bars. So, there's still plenty of room to get injured.
It's there, but it's just it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel, I didn't get too much of a feel of oh my God, it didn't seem too risky. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But there were some good spots, though.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely not going to take that away from them, but it was just.
Yeah, Mickie James, she pulled off a nice high risk move at one point in the match.
Yo, Mickie still got it. I think she is the oldest women's wrestler there right now.
In the active roster?
Yeah.
I think so. She's 37, 38.
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, she hasn't lost a step. 6-time women's champion. Hopefully, she'll get her 7th reign at some point.
Yeah, 'cause she was part of that. She was part of that OVW generation,
Yep.
and everybody else was basically FCW and NXT,
Yeah, that's right. Then you had the Divas era during that time.
which was the OVW.
Yeah. You had Sasha Banks, who actually did a bit of a heel turn, kicking Bayley off one of the pods.
Well, it was like, listen, it was every woman for themselves. Mm-hmm. So they knew that. Now, I missed Raw the next day. Did they weren't they on the same team together?
Yeah, I didn't really catch it. I had it on in the background, so there wasn't much that came out of the so-called heel turn from Sasha Banks, but I think it's coming eventually.
Yeah, I think it needs to come.
Yeah, she's a much better heel than a face.
She is.
But at the end, Alexa Bliss managed to retain the championship, and then after the match, she had this heartfelt speech about achieving your dreams and all that.
And then she just switched it.
Yup.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, that was cool.
It was.
You know, I followed my dream, something that you people here never will, or something like that. I thought that was vintage Alexa Bliss. But Alexa Bliss, man, she's been killing it since she went to the main roster. First ever woman to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, and she's going on to WrestleMania, most likely fighting Asuka. And I think this is going to be a dope match. Keeping in mind that Asuka did beat her clean in a non-title match at one point on a Raw. A couple months back.
Is that who Asuka challenged? Because did she actually officially challenge him? Or they just said, "Oh, you're on Raw."
Yeah, she hasn't. Asuka hasn't officially made her choice, but I think they're implying that she's gonna go off to face Alexa because they did say during Asuka's match with Nia Jax that if Nia beat her, she would be introduced in their match as a triple threat.
Right.
So I think they're gonna go with Asuka.
He's gonna go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Alexa Bliss for the win in the first ever women's elimination chamber match. That was really good. Then you had the next match, which was forgettable. Cesaro and Sheamus, The Bar, defending their tag team titles against Titus Worldwide.
I would like to see them go with Titus Worldwide just to give something different. Even if the reign was going to be short, it would just been nice to see them get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I describe Titus Worldwide as primetime players with less charisma, if that's possible. Because Darren Young had more charisma than Apollo.
And I love Apollo. Apollo's such a beast. Right? He's just there's something that he's lacking. And he's as good as he is. He should have more charisma.
Yeah,
he should be, but he's missing something.
I think so too. Like he is missing like a real personality. I think he was called up from NXT too soon though.
That's possibly that possibly could have been the case.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's happened many times before, so yeah,
that's true. But I will say that I think it's cool that Cesaro and Sheamus they're a well-oiled machine. Although I still believe Cesaro is capable of so much more than just tag team wrestling. I'm also happy to see that Dana Brooke is not in a wrestling capacity anymore, so that's good because I don't.
We had our words about Dana Brooke.
Yeah. Hey, I don't begrudge Dana Brooke for her success and her being placed on the main roster, making that money. But as a good wrestler, she is not. I'm not saying she's
not.
She's like Eva Marie levels of bad, just with a better physique.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let her do her statistician manager thing. Then you had Asuka beating Nia Jax. And this was where in the Wrestling Fantasy Warfare the thirst was real for a couple of users, which I will not name names, but if they watch this episode, they know who they are. Asuka, the real streak continues.
Shut your face.
The real streak continues. She beat Nia Jax clean. Nia Jax, she surprisingly got a good amount of cheers during her match as well. So I mean, Nia Jax is starting to.
This was probably Nia's best match.
I'll say so. Yeah, definitely one where the crowd got into her the most.
Yeah, she was but she's been getting over a lot lately. So apparently she's doing something right.
Or something right.
Because she kind of staled out for a bit. Mm-hmm. But it's like something just came out. I think she's just becoming more herself instead of being just a big robot beast woman. And I can just beat everybody. But she's being herself, and she's showing much more personality, and people are taking a liking to it.
Yeah, and I think it's
Like her Instagram is very entertaining.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And I think it's also cool that that thankfully they took her away from Enzo after that whole controversy went down. So
They had no choice but to.
no, they had no choice but to. But I think it's good that that Nia is actually getting some traction with the fans.
Well, she was getting some. I think that was the start of it, because
Yeah.
she was starting to get attention. Like, yeah, Enzo got a thing for big girls and all that, and then all that happened. But yeah, she still continued. And Enzo's apparently trying to become a rapper.
What? Wait,
It's something that I heard, so don't quote me on it. But yeah, I think he's trying to rap.
Enzo Amore, what a douche! Oh my gosh! And I remember you said I watched that video clip you showed me of Simon Gotch who shot on Enzo.
He went
in. I'm like, yup, I believe.
You also got to hear. I came across this too. I gotta show this to you too. Jim Cornette going in on him as well.
Oh,
He's
man.
like, Jesus Christ, this guy is an idiot. He's like, if you have something wrong with you and you're keeping it from the WWE, like, that's where you really messed up.
Yeah, true.
Because the WWE probably could have backed you up.
They could have, and instead, like, he was just feeling himself too much.
Exactly. So suppose if, like, okay, everything turns out to not be true.
Well,
But yet, you're out of a job, and not to mention you built that reputation of being a complete dickhead.
yeah,
So now, like, what was your good source of bread and butter? You just completely lost it. You burnt that bridge.
yeah, it's pretty much. So he's pretty much done. Enzo is donezo, and I think that's a good thing. But yeah, getting back to the Asuka Nia Jax match, even though Asuka won, Nia Jax, had the last word by throwing her through the barricade outside the ring.
I was not expecting that, and I was like, you know what? That was dope.
That was a good spot. Bringing some tension to Asuka, like she's vulnerable. Will she lose the streak? But unlike the Undertaker, she still has two good hips, so she can still walk and wrestle. But
Gee, you need a brick to your forehead. You said you was gonna stop, you lying asshole.
I know
You did. You did. You lied,
Well, I would have stopped completely, but John Cena,
dude.
John Cena's teasing an Undertaker match.
Oh man, I do not want that to happen.
I don't either, man.
I don't, because like I said this before, like the way he went out last year's WrestleMania, even though I still wanted him to win, I still want him to win because I just don't think Roman was the guy to retire him.
Yeah,
But like, I don't think anybody was the guy to retire him. If anybody, it just would have been Sting, and that's 10 years too late.
yeah,
So I think honestly, I still think Undertaker should have just went out at 28 at end of an era, and that would have been it.
yeah. I agree. Yeah,
Still had the streak, because that streak it should have been his, and that's it.
yeah,
But like I said, I've said this many times before. You can go back on our previous podcast to listen to what I had to say. But I just think that with Cena trying to call out the Undertaker, bring him back, and challenge him, it just took that beautiful moment from last year's WrestleMania and just like made it meaningless now.
I agree. Yeah, and it's like I will say that it would make it completely meaningless if he did go back into the ring one more time.
Yeah.
Then it'll be like that.
Like I
was
can
the point.
understand, like I was telling you before the show started, that listen, like when Undertaker showed up at the Raw 25, people were chanting one more match, just because everything all he did was just come out and he just had that entrance, the music, that total package and stuff. It brings back those memories, it brings back those moments and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's still a moment within itself, and people just want to relive that again. So it's like, oh my God, I want this moment again. One more match. So then, Undertaker's 52 years old.
Yeah.
You get there, and, he's had his fair share of injuries and stuff. So when you get there, he has the moments. It's like you get it for 5 minutes, and then it's just like, yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not going to get that same guy from WrestleMania 25 and 26.
No, sir.
Not even 29. And 29 was still a good match.
It was like 29, and that was
CM Punk.
CM Punk. Yeah, that was I would say his last great match.
Great match, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we won't see an Undertaker return to the ring because we don't need that. But yeah,
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, but
appearances, yes, I'm all for it. I'm all for appearances, but not a match.
Yeah.
I want Mark Calloway to enjoy his family and his kids.
Indeed, yeah, he's earned it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we had 2 more matches on the card for Elimination Chamber. Real quick, Matt Hardy defeated Bray Wyatt. Nothing special.
No.
JoJo was not pleased, and and then we had the main event. We had the main event.
That was mean.
I know.
It was good, but it was mean.
And then we had the main event, the men's Elimination Chamber match, where in a twist ending that nobody saw coming, Roman Reigns defeated Braun Strowman, Elias, Finn Balor, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and The Miz to go on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, so Adrian Price was clearly over the moon.
He was.
And everyone else was just like, oh, meh, I'm shocked. Although I will say, Roman Reigns cut a hell of a promo last night on Raw.
He did.
Probably the best promo in his career so far.
Yeah.
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 Oh, a worked shoot promo where he calls out Lesnar for being a part-time player who doesn't show up. And, being entitled, and yet Roman and the guys bust their asses. And, Roman said that, it doesn't matter how big the city is. When I say I'll show up, I'll be there. Brock can't say the same. And Brock is a bitch. And, yeah, so they're definitely trying to drum up as much interest as babyface interest as they can for Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania 34. But I still think the outcome's going to be Roman Reigns is going to get booed out of the building. They're going to mute the crowd microphones, and then Pyro's going to go off the end. Let me ask you something. And I'll say this real quick. Okay, you have Roman Reigns who's main evented the past 3 WrestleManias. WrestleMania 31 against Brock Lesnar with Seth Rollins won, cashed in Money in the Bank.
Great moment.
Oh yeah, great moment. WrestleMania 32, definitely the worst WrestleMania in the last 5 years, where he beat Triple H for the WWE Championship. And then last year when he retired The Undertaker at 33. And now he's going to main event for a 4th time against Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Let me ask you something for you diehard Roman Reigns fans out there who call him the guy. How many...
Kyle and Adrian.
Kyle and Adrian specifically. Guys, how many coronations, quote unquote, can one man have? How many coronations can one man have to have that distinction of being bestowed as he is the man, he has arrived? How many arrivals can one man have? This is going to be his 4th quote unquote arrival. Roman Reigns is not the guy because we, the fans, don't believe in him. No, don't get me wrong. Is Roman Reigns talented? Yes, he is. Is he a good wrestler? Yes, he is. Is he the guy? No, because when I think of the guy, I think of cats like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, even to a certain extent, Y2J, Chris Jericho.
Jericho's the GOAT.
The GOAT right there. Even Kurt Angle during the Attitude Era. I think of guys that can actually effectively not only carry the brand, but also have the majority of the fan base, like 99% of the fan base right behind them, cheering them on, earning the fans' respect and adulation. They earned it because we, the fans, believe in them, and we believe that they've earned it. Roman Reigns, Bret Hart, even Shawn Michaels with the whole boyhood dream angle. Yeah. They've earned it. Mick Foley, the Mrs. Foley's baby boy, earned it. Roman Reigns, we're told he's the guy. We're told he's deserving. We're told he's the man. That's the big difference. But yet Adrian and Kyle don't see it. And as far as I'm concerned, Adrian, our debate is null and void because I'm right and you're wrong.
So could this be like an open challenge to another one?
No.
Part 2?
No. This is not an open challenge because I proved my point in the last debate, and that's all that needs to be said.
He's coming back, right?
Yeah, he is.
He will be back for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, we definitely got to bring somebody like Adrian and maybe a couple other people on the podcast for that. Maybe from the Wrestling Fantasy chat or something.
Oh my God. Well, the last one was good. Brian brought it too.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. Although I will say that if we do bring some other cats from the Wrestling Fantasy Warfare chat on Facebook, I will have bottles of Aquafina to quench your thirst. Y'all know who you are.
It's still so much fun, though.
It is.
It's fun, dude. It's just fantasizing. We're just having fun with it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I will say
That's
that
all it was.
yeah. I mean, I'll
Just guy talk.
yeah, yeah. But I will say that like the wrestling fantasy warfare threads, it makes watching dull or whack WWE moments or programming fun or bearable.
It does.
Yeah, and I will say we definitely gotta get Grande on the show too.
Oh my God, Grande.
Imagine Grande and Adrian.
Grande is a trip on that thing, man.
Yeah. Imagine if you get Grande and Adrian like debating on like especially like over Brock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think we have to have a separate
now let me ask you this.
podcast.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So Cena said in his promo that the match with the Undertaker is impossible. Let's hope it remains that way.
Indeed.
Who do you think would be a suitable opponent for Cena?
That's a good question. I would say they can continue the whole feud with Elias.
Yeah.
That could maybe elevate Elias because Elias has gotten some really good fan support, surprisingly.
Yeah, you notice you ever see his T-shirt? He has a new shirt saying like the Walk with Elias tour, and it has like cities listed in the back.
Oh, nice.
And for once, Providence, Rhode Island is actually on the shirt.
Yeah, we
I was
made
like,
it.
oh shit, we made it.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I would say Elias would be the most logical opponent, or maybe
Braun?
Braun Strowman. Oh, that would be a huge boost for Braun, like to go over on Cena.
Yeah.
And hopefully Braun can go over Cena clean because that's the most important thing. I was gonna say Samoa Joe, but I think he's still injured.
I think so too.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
I'd like to see Dean Ambrose go against Braun.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting contest. I know Dean Ambrose is still injured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I was gonna say Dolph Ziggler, but that's 2012. That was then. This is now. But I will say that I'll tell you one thing that I don't want to see at WrestleMania 34. I don't want to see John Cena muscle his way into the AJ Nakamura match.
Please do not let that happen.
That would be an insult.
Yeah.
Oh.
Huge insult.
Yeah, man. Because like we're promised a Wrestle Kingdom caliber match.
Exactly. Like, and not to mention Cena almost killed Nakamura. No, Nakamura almost killed Cena.
Oh yeah, with that reverse suplex.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and then Nakamura is showing the true sportsman that he is. He's like, I'm sorry. And then Cena goes, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
And it was a good that was a good match, to their credit. To
That
Cena's
was.
credit, but I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I want to see AJ and Nakamura.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Ideally, that should be the last match on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cena versus Nakamura on Fastlane. Shout out to Brian.
Oh, welcome, Brian, to the chat. Oh, and also welcome Yemi for joining us.
Yeminems.
Yes. We got to get another game night with the crew, with the Black Alliance crew.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, Cena Nakamura Fastlane. Hey, I'm down for that. You know, give Cena something to do. You know.
Oh, damn. Kyle just now tuned in.
Oh yes.
You missed it, Kyle.
Oh, Kyle, thank you for joining us, but you just missed my Roman Reigns rant. But once this episode is done, you can go back and watch what I had to say about that matter. So yeah, that's some interesting stuff going on. And I gotta remind myself, I still gotta catch up on 205 Live. I can't believe I just said those words. But
Me too.
But 205 Live, I hear they've been killing it in terms of quality. Like they're still continuing the Cruiserweight Championship tournament matches.
I just want to declare I am a skill crane god.
Skill Crane God?
It's going to be the same step as Nia and Oscar. I got a PS4. Okay.
Oh, is he talking about Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Fighter Z?
Oh, I can't even think about it, but he's got a PS4. Kyle, I'm going to need that gamer tag.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'll need that gamer tag as well. So yes, that was a WWE Elimination Chamber. We are still on the road to WrestleMania. Hopefully. Oh yeah, and also Ronda Rousey did some stuff. But anyway,
No, you know what? That was a decent promo. That was a decent. What's the word I'm looking for?
promo angle.
Yeah. That was decent, except for Triple H's weak ass punch to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle took that ugly ass bump.
Yeah,
That was awful.
that was an air punch on the side of his head.
Dude, that was like when freaking Hogan air slapped Lex Luger, and Lex Luger sold it.
Oh man, like a true professional, Kurt sold that like
Yeah.
a man, like the man that he is. But yeah, but I think
Kyle now.
oh nice. But yeah, I think right now the Ronda Rousey thing is going to culminate into a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania 34 with Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie. Although people wanted The Rock.
That's what I was gonna say. I was getting ready to say, I'm like, it's not the match that we want, but we're okay. We're okay with settling for that.
Yeah, and besides, Kurt Angle still got some juice left in the tank.
He does.
Yeah, and you know The Rock, I mean, The Rock is a busy man. He's cranking out them box office hits, baby, one after another.
Yeah, man, he's got a.
Yeah, Fast and Furious 23 can't make itself. So yeah, we got so that's some wrestle talk right there, and we got some news and items coming at you your way. First off, we have some nearly unfortunate news, but thankfully it's not the case. Kevin Smith is recovering from a massive heart attack, which he suffered recently. The Clerks director was hospitalized Sunday after suffering a complete blockage of his LED artery, aka the Widowmaker. He was set to perform 2 stand-up comedy sets when he had the attack. In a Facebook post on Sunday, or on Monday rather, Smith explained, "If I hadn't canceled the second show to go to the hospital, the doc said I would have died tonight. For now, I'm still above ground."
And he posts a goofy picture.
Yeah.
So I mean, good for them. I actually learned of that news while watching Comic Book Men.
Oh wow!
And what was cool about that episode is that these filmmakers actually made a documentary on Kevin Smith shooting the movie Clerks, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, oh my God, the director, actually Ryan James, the filmmaker, the producer of that biopic, actually liked the picture that we posted.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
sweet.
So shout outs to Ryan James for that one. So, but yeah, I'm glad he's recovering because I want Clerks 3. It's not happening.
Yeah, and I remember I enjoyed the first Clerks. I think the first Clerks is better than the second one.
Oh my God,
that's just my
Clerks
opinion.
2 is freaking hilarious.
Two was hilarious. I think the best one was the whole Lord of the Rings walking scene. Which it's a simplistic analysis, but it's still pretty amusing. I still want to see Kevin Smith's movie Tusk, which I hear is complete schlock, but I'm curious about it now.
I want a new Jay and Silent Bob. A lot of people want a new Jay and Silent Bob, and they'll actually do it too. Just the thing is, like, the guy who played not Dante, was it Randall?
Yeah.
For Clerks 2, he doesn't want to do it anymore.
No,
Brian O'Halloran actually told me that at Comic-Con. It's cool to say. I can say that. But,
yeah. I mean, do we really need another Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Why not?
I mean, like Jason Mewes, isn't he like in his mid-40s or something?
Everybody's in their 40s now.
I mean, I don't know, but yeah, good on Kevin Smith to recover, man. Hopefully you'll have a full recovery soon, brother. Some other news here. Joss Whedon is no longer directing Batgirl for the DCEU. After coming aboard the project last year, Whedon stepped down from the standalone film because, by his own admission, he could not come up with a story for Batgirl. So the future of the DCEU film is now uncertain.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Jonaponic.
Yeah, I find it rather unfortunate and a little strange that he couldn't come up with a story for Batgirl, because Joss Whedon specializes in female protagonists and all of his stuff like Buffy, Dollhouse, Firefly.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he just couldn't find an interesting story, but I guess in this case they can hire Gail Simone because she did an excellent run in the New 52 of Batgirl. So, hopefully we'll see the second good DCEU movie. Maybe it takes a woman's touch.
Possibly.
Yeah. Let's see. We have Grande, James Vincent, who just joined
And
us.
you completely missed it, Grande. Oh man. You
Yes, yes. When you once this episode finishes, just go back to earlier on. We did talk about the Elimination Chamber, and I had my rant against Roman Reigns as well. So yeah, Batgirl. Hopefully it'll see the light of day in the perhaps rebooted DCEU, maybe. Some other news here, some film news. Danny Boyle is the top choice to direct the next James Bond film. Danny Boyle, he's the director of Slumdog Millionaire, 28 Days Later, and Steve Jobs. He's being considered by MGM and Eon Productions to direct the 25th movie in the 007 franchise, which will also be Daniel Craig's fifth and final film as Bond. No formal offer has been given as of yet, but the studios have been long interested in Danny Boyle to direct a Bond movie. Bond 25 is scheduled for release on November 8th, 2019.
2019 is gonna look like a real good year for movies.
Yeah, movies and TV shows too. Like with movies, you got Avengers 4. I think Guardians 3, or is that 2020? I don't know.
I forgot the timeline. I forgot the future timeline.
Yeah,
because there's like so much. Isn't Aquaman next? No, Aquaman's this year.
yeah, December. Yeah, and of course in television, Game of Thrones, season 8. Brett, man, winter is coming.
Winter is here. Winter's here. It's just
Yeah.
we ain't gonna see their winter until next year.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man, that is awful.
Oh yeah. And speaking of some comic news coming at your way, Black Panther grosses over $700 million worldwide. The best MCU film / bona fide cultural event has grossed over $403 million domestically and over $305 million in foreign markets. So who says black-led films can't be blockbusters? Hashtag Wakanda Forever.
We support this shit. And like I said, you really think, I'm like, will our community go out to see Cyborg like they did Black Panther?
Nah. Yeah, Cyborg was just there in Justice League, and he has no personality to speak of. I don't know if it's the character or if it's the actor who played him. I think it's Ray Fisher, I believe. But yeah, there's something that's just completely missing. I mean, how you gonna have all that armor, that cybernetics and weaponry, and have no personality? He might as well be a doorknob with lasers on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Laser pointer wrapped in aluminum foil.
pretty much. But yeah, man, I'm very pleased with Black Panther's financial success.
Probably just not that interesting enough of a character.
Oh no.
Whereas like with Black Panther, we're actually seeing ourselves like uplifted, and we're seeing a king.
And they're 3-dimensional characters too. And I will say that I am happy to see Black Panther, be this successful because, for a long time Hollywood executives have said, oh, well, black films can't sell well overseas. And some people are gonna, downplay this news as, oh, it's because it's a Marvel movie, it's the Marvel brand that sold. Come on now. I mean,
I think it's just a combination of. It was a combination of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it was. It's gonna be. You're gonna get your casual Marvel goers, and you're gonna just think, oh my god, people who never even saw it. I actually stopped by the barbershop today, and it was like, yeah, I never watched a Marvel movie before. Now he wants to go back to watch the first Iron Man and watch them all.
Nice, that's what's up. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what's up right there. And also, last headline here in regards to Black Panther. Disney has donated $1 million to open STEM centers in honor of Black Panther's success. The money is going towards development of the Boys and Girls Club of America's science, technology, engineering, and math programs. 12 new STEM centers of innovation will be built around the country, including in Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago, Harlem, Hartford, Memphis, New Orleans, Oakland, Orlando, Philadelphia, Washington, and Watts. The Boys and Girls Club's Centers of Innovation offer a variety of hands-on programs for youth interested in areas such as robotics, video production, and 3D printing.
That is dope. I wish I had that opportunity when I was growing up.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I definitely would have gotten into video production.
Yeah, and robotics too. Shit. Yeah. So yeah, big ups to Disney for that boost, and
Of course, Oakland was gonna get theirs.
of course, Ryan Coogler.
Right?
Yeah. Yo, man. Yeah, and you know what? And speaking of Ryan Coogler too, there's a cool video that I also posted on I think on my Facebook, but I also posted on the Codex Facebook about the breakdown of that casino fight scene, and Ryan Coogler breaks down like how he staged it and like what certain elements meant. It was really cool. So I'll post that as well.
Yeah, do that. I'll
Yeah.
take a look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that does it for the news and headlines. We're going to get into our bit of our main topic here to wrap up Black History Month, talking about, favorite black characters in comics, movies, whatever, Blackity black. I don't know.
Oh man, I freaking love that song. I love that song from CB4.
Yeah.
Black y'all.
Alan Payne. So, yeah.
Should I start? Should I start off? I'll start off on
Yeah.
a bad note.
Okay.
Now, this was a show that was that only had 22 episodes in one season. That was on during the 90s. My dad watched it. And I think he was the only one who watched it.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anybody from my generation even remembers it because it was so short-lived and so horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was a superhero called Mantis.
Oh, I remember Mantis. Yeah, that was with Keith David, right?
No, it was Carl Lumbly.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it was basically about a paralyzed black scientist who builds a powerful exoskeleton in order to walk again and uses his new abilities to fight crime. That's literally all I can tell you about it.
Okay.
And it was just dark. I can barely even get I can't even tell you what Mantis. I can't even remember what he really looked like. All I know is the screen was just always dark. Like every scene was at night.
Hey, I remember it was on Fox, right?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
on Fox. So it was one of Fox's many canceled shows.
Yeah. Fox has a huge legacy of canceled shows.
They do. Even Peter Griffin did it when Family Guy came back, and he just lists. He's oh yeah, we're gonna come back. Well, we have a chance of coming back. We just have to wait for shows and he just named a whole list of shows that got canceled. Mm-hmm. And she's like, so, and then Lois says, oh, so there's no hope. Well, if all those shows goes down the tank, then we may have a shot.
Oh wow. Yeah. Wow, Mantis. I remember that was a show that I never watched an episode. I've watched like scenes, moments.
Yeah,
Like,
same with me. I remember seeing a commercial, and I remember my dad watching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the longest time, I really thought it was Keith David in that show.
No, Keith David. He actually did the voice of Goliath from Gargoyles.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I heard. This was a rumor from a couple years ago that Disney wants Marvel to do a Gargoyles movie.
Really?
Yes.
I mean,
That'd be so dope. I loved Gargoyles back in the day.
that was a very good TV series.
It was.
Yeah. And man, damn, now I want to go back and watch Gargoyles again. It's been over 20 years since I watched
Disney's
that.
having a streaming service next year. It's
Yeah.
coming on next year.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that is. It's
So
starting to
just
compete with
imagine,
Netflix.
you get all the we'll get all the Marvel movies. Of course, you get all the Disney movies, all the Pixar movies that you cry to,
Yeah.
and if we get all those old shows like Gargoyles, they really trying to keep me in the house.
Yeah, the 90s can never die.
It can't. It can't. Maybe it's just me because I'm a child in the 90s. I really need to get that on a shirt.
Yeah, so what else you got, man?
Oh man, I had Blade was a good one.
Yes. Have you seen the first two Blade films?
Yes. Yes, I actually never saw the third one. Sorry, Triple H.
Yeah, you're not missing anything with the third one. Damn, I will say, people, what's funny with Blade? People always credit X-Men as and Spider-Man as the films to kick off the superhero drama. Nah, you got to give respect to Blade. Blade actually was the first Marvel film to prove that Marvel films didn't have to suck. Then X-Men was the one that proved that the mainline franchises don't have to suck either, to being translated to film. So Blade was the one that really got things going for Marvel, as far as I'm concerned.
I can see, yeah, but you know what was also a Marvel property?
What?
Men in Black.
That was?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Men in Black was a Marvel comic.
I did not know that. Thought it was like Dark Horse or something.
That was Marvel.
Wow.
And Men in Black was good. I actually watched it with my client today at work.
Yeah, I've only watched the first movie. The first movie was cool.
Part 2 was cool, too.
Yeah.
Part 3 was all right.
Yeah, part 2 had Michael Jackson in it, right?
Yeah, for like a quick second. It was like a quick cameo. I can be Agent M. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh man, but yeah, Blade, man. I really enjoyed the first two films. In fact, the first two films are so close in quality that it's hard. I'm hard pressed to determine which one I like a little bit more. Like with the first film had and Aris pointed this out too when he was on the podcast. It had a really underrated villain in Deacon Frost, played by Stephen Dorff. I really liked the woman that accompanied Blade in his mission, played by N'Bouche Wright, which I think that was her only notable role. Then Sanaa Lathan played his mother.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and also there was and Blade, the first film, which when it came out in '98, it was famous for that techno rave song, which was overplayed in the '90s, in the late '90s.
The most famous techno song, was the Mortal Kombat theme song.
Yeah, but this one is definitely a close second because it had the blood rave.
Yeah,
in the Vampire Club, and then it also had one of the I think coolest / cheesiest / funniest quotes from Blade from the first film, where he said in regards to Deacon Frost, he said, "Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill."
I will say this though.
It's a dumb line, but I like it.
My mother enjoyed Blade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. Like that's how I knew like Blade had something going on because like my mom was like really watching it and enjoying it. I'm like, okay, Ma.
Yeah. Even as
you got a little comic in you.
Even as violent and bloody as it got.
Yeah. This was before she got saved though, so she was able to take it. She would probably watch it now. I'm like, oh my God. And then just don't mind it.
Yeah. And also like Blade 2 was damn good too. Like although
that was Ryan Reynolds, right?
No, he was
Ryan
in
Reynolds was part 3.
Yeah, Blade 2. It had that character Novak who had the split jaw like the Predator.
Oh yeah.
That was a dope effect. Although like there was some wonky CG like in the early 2000s because it came out in 2002.
Well, the CG was progressing at that time.
It was, and Guillermo del Toro directed it too, so you could tell he had some of his touches in there, like with Ron Perlman in it. Donnie Yen was in it. Even Norman Reedus. Wait, was he? Yeah, he played.
I need to revisit. Okay, I got to revisit the Blade movies now.
Yeah,
I will actually watch the third one too.
Yeah, Norman Reedus. He played Blade's assistant Scud.
I can see it too. I really gotta revisit that.
Yeah. Yeah, but damn good films there.
Okay,
still.
Next up was my all-time favorite superhero.
Okay.
Spawn.
Okay.
Now, Spawn was just always just such a cool character. For one, yeah, he was black. Mm-hmm. So, and at that time when I was a kid, I never saw a black superhero. Mm-hmm. So then we got one, and of course, the movie. As a kid, listen, let me defend myself. As a kid, I'm like, we got a Spawn movie.
Yeah,
that was it. And I know there was definitely, there were changes. I didn't really quite understand them back then as a kid, where the studio didn't really want. Like they just gave Todd McFarlane had to work what the studio gave him.
Yeah,
and the studio really didn't fully believe in his vision, so that's why the movie wasn't really like up to par. Mm-hmm. Like I thought the story was decent for just a short standalone film. Mm-hmm. But Spawn was just like, to me, he was just like that dude. He just like he had a heart, he had a mission, to get his old life back, regardless of him being dead and whatnot. But he was still just like such a badass who will kill to get what we wanted, he wanted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean.
But oh my God, was the CGI cheesy as fuck?
Yo, that was some PS1 level. I
could have drew that CGI when I was 12.
Yeah, like the scenes where he was in hell.
Oh my God, Malboja.
Yeah,
Oh my.
that was terrible. Even
Like,
back
look at
then.
for back then for his time, it was okay.
Now, even back then, it was terrible. You gotta
Looking back
admit.
at it now to see how much seeing how CGI has developed into what it is now and what it's going to be soon. Looking back at it, it's like Jesus Christ, that shit was ugly.
It was, man. And
It's like they put more. You know what it is? It's like they put more money into Spawn's costume and makeup than they did to the CGI.
they did. And I will say, like, John Leguizamo as the clown, Violator.
No.
Poor.
No, I will say
Poor.
this. No, I would say this. John Leguizamo had the voice. Because that's how, if you watch the animated series, that's how Clown talked.
Right.
So, I mean, I think with the costume and stuff, it's like, okay, and, you know, they made that work. Because John Leguizamo was like, you know, Clown's like dumb short.
Yeah.
And, you know, John Leguizamo was like average height.
Yeah.
So, you know, they actually made that work for what it was. And, you know, Clown was that goofy character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not really gonna knock it. Like he made it work to some degree. Could they have chosen somebody better? Yes.
No, but the problem was, like, I think it was how the character was written, because he was super annoying.
But that's the Clown character.
No, like
The character he's
genuinely,
annoying as fuck.
annoying, like turn the TV off annoying.
That's the character.
Nah.
That was the character, just not as dark as what Todd McFarlane really wanted it to be. If you watch the animated series, which is on HBO now, you'll be like, you will see, like, yo, he really is such an annoying character, but he really couldn't be used to what he really was, because Spawn is like basically a rated R character, and they made it PG-13. And like two interesting facts. One, you know, Greg Nicotero, who works on Walking Dead now, worked on that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And two, there was a scene in the movie where Clown ate a slice of pizza that had maggots on it, and those were real maggots, and he really ate it.
Oh, Jesus. Why?
Method actor, I guess.
Man, that's dedication, but for
It is.
dedication for a bad movie.
I mean, I'm sure you heard worse stories of people who truly dedicated to a certain role.
I mean, I heard stories of like actors like gaining weight for a role, but come on, maggots.
Yeah, he ate maggots. Let me see. Next up on my list, Bishop.
Ah, yes.
When he was in the animated series, like he was there like sporadically, and I would look forward to it. You know what I mean? Reading those old X-Force comics, like, yo, Bishop was the shit. Like I thought the guy who played him in Days of Future Past was okay, but for me, he just wasn't Bishop.
Well,
Bishop was a big brolic dude, you know, with the hair and the braids that he had. Just like, okay, they're bringing in the character for like a quick, fast, and a hurry, but I'm like, that just wasn't Bishop. So that's why I will campaign for Terry Crews to play Bishop in like one of the future X-Force movies with Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
I would be so up for that.
I'll dig it. And Bishop is also a time traveler too, right?
Yes.
Because I remember, like in the cartoon, he came back to kill Gambit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Because I know in the Days of Future Past, the movie, he had basically no dialogue.
No, he was a quick flash in the plan. You blinked, you missed it.
Yeah, he was just running and gunning.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect. Days of Future Past was the best X-Men movie.
Yeah, like the X-Men movies, it sounds like,
Yeah.
not counting like the solo Wolverine movies. Yeah, I'd agree it was like the best one.
Right. So,
Yeah.
because I still never finished Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I have to. I gotta put it towards my bad movie day. I still need to have.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that like I enjoyed it the first time, but then I think back more and more.
You jonesed about it. You was like,
Yeah, at first I was like, yeah, I don't see what's so bad about it. I mean, even though I did see some of the flaws at the time, but then upon further reflection, I'm like, yeah, that really wasn't that good, wasn't it?
nope.
Yeah.
So of course, Luke Cage next.
Of course.
It's perfectly, as of right now, it's perfectly done.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a show that nails the authenticity of the culture too,
Exactly.
which I was very surprised by because I wouldn't expect that level of like detail from Marvel for some reason because like I was expecting like a white person's idea of blackness, cultural blackness, but no, it's like
You know what it is? Because Marvel
dyed in
is
the wool.
not culturally clueless.
Yeah.
Especially judging by what they did for Luke Cage and for Black Panther.
Yeah, they hire the right people behind the camera, and they get it done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the next one, and speaking of Luke Cage, he was a villain, which I really, really, really wish they didn't kill him off.
Oh, the
Cottonmouth.
Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes.
Like, I would have loved to see him like form some type of union with like Kingpin or something.
Yeah, like Mahershala Ali, he played the hell out of that
And
role.
he nailed it, especially like that one scene when he had the Biggie picture in back of him, and
Yeah.
he walks in front of it, and then the crown is just like right there at his head.
Yep, that was a dope shot.
Yeah, and then like just the way like he embodied that role as like that villainous role. Mm-hmm. Like I was pissed. I did not want him to. I thought he was a better villain than Diamondback.
Oh, absolutely. Like with Mahershala Ali as Cottonmouth, he had that charisma.
Exactly.
He was very charming, and that laugh.
Yeah. Quincy Thomas said he was the highlight of that show. I wouldn't say he was the only highlight,
Yeah,
but he helped make the show work.
he did.
He
And although I will say, like Diamondback, I didn't think he was bad, but I thought he was definitely over the top for the tone of the show.
Right.
Like I was like, he would actually fit more in the MCU movies than he would on the gritty.
yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, than a gritty TV series.
Yeah.
But even so, like and also with that, I got special mention has to be given to Alfre Woodard's character.
Mariah Dillard.
Yeah, because she was just conniving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alfre Woodard, I'm so glad that an actress of her caliber is getting real work like
But
that.
the thing was, I've never seen Alfre Woodard like. I think like the worst role that I saw her in that made me like not like her. Come on, the final fight with the suit was trash.
I wouldn't say, well, what were you gonna say? I'll address this in a moment.
Oh, I was gonna say like I think the closest thing I saw her in a movie that I didn't like her character was Down in the Delta.
I've heard of it.
And
I
she
don't
wasn't
think-
even really that bad of a character. I was just like, it's not like I Precious Mom hated her, but like I felt some type of way about the character. But where this one is like I actually liked to hate her.
Yeah, that's true. And her backstory along with Cottonmouth was actually really tragic when they were kids.
Yeah, it was tragic, but yeah, and it's just like, and you felt for it.
Yeah. And their mother, oh man, I forgot the name of their mother. She was like a big drug kingpin.
Yeah.
I forgot the character's name. But yo, she was like one of the darkest villains.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But what was you gonna say about the final fight in Luke Cage?
The final fight in Luke Cage, where I thought, it did have an element of cheese to it, but I thought it was very good. I thought it was entertaining because to me, it was like a comic version of the final fight from Friday between Debo and Ice Cube.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Because you had
Like the whole crowd, the whole community, like behind Luke, and he's like, "Yo, come." I got that feel to it.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a good comparison.
Yeah. So
Couldn't have been couldn't the fight scene? Couldn't the fight choreography could have been better? I would say a bit.
yeah. But Luke Cage has never been a flashy fighter. Like he's bulletproof.
Yeah, he's bulletproof. He's a brawler. Yeah.
Yeah, he just picks you up and just throws you like trash.
Next one, a decent villain. I wouldn't say he would have been my favorite, but a very decent one was Deathlock.
I've always been curious about reading his comics. Was he a straight villain or is it like an anti-hero or?
He was well, I can only go by because he was actually portrayed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by J. August Richards, who played Richard Street in the Temptations movie.
Okay.
he was a villain who was manipulated by Hydra. He was built by Hydra, and he was manipulated by them. But it's like he had. Oh, it was almost like a Killmonger. Like he had a bigger purpose. Like he was just trying to have a good life for his son, provide a good life for his son. He was a single parent, but his son got taken away. So he participated in these experiments to become Deathlock. But he basically did it for his son.
Okay.
So and then later on, he actually has like a certain. He turns around and becomes a good guy. And he was in the show like very sporadically. After a while, he kind of just fizzled out as far, when like they started bringing in the Inhumans and whatnot. But I thought it was okay. It was decent how they did it. Pretty cool. It was cool for Agents of Shield, which I still need to finish.
Yeah. So how many seasons of Agents of Shield is there?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Wow. And it doesn't really tie into the MCU in any significant way, right?
It's in the same MCU. Some tie-ins, a few tie-ins, but they kind of are doing like their own thing.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can't leave out Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, of course not.
As a matter of fact, Samuel L. Jackson was the inspiration for Black Nick Fury.
Yep, he was. I remember that.
Yeah, but I will say this to some credit. David Hasselhoff had the look of...
Oh, the original Nick Fury?
Yeah.
I remember that.
He had the look.
Remember that 90s show?
No. I remember it, but I never watched it.
I did, and it's totally forgettable.
Yeah, it is, because I'm like, oh yeah, David Hasselhoff did Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He was Nick Fury at one point. Okay, what's Samuel L. Jackson doing? Like, that's literally it. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson going to be in Infinity War?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna look.
Like you hear his voice in the trailer, but it could have been like something old.
Yeah, I think ultimately he will be because he's been in hiding since Winter Soldier.
Right. I mean, he did appear in a couple of episodes of Agents of Shield.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Misty Knight.
Yes.
She's actually becoming such a cool character within the Marvel Netflix series.
Yeah, she's got the cybernetic arm for season 2 of Luke Cage.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be like a tie-in. Well, because in the comics, Tony Stark builds that cybernetic arm. So I don't know if they're gonna do that.
I think it's Danny Rand's company, Rand Industries, that builds it for her.
I think so.
Yeah.
And Quincy Thomas says he's in there. Good.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, and Simone Missick like just nailing that character.
Absolutely.
And she's freaking gorgeous as hell. Yeah, and not to mention one thing. There's a cartoon called Superhero Squad Show.
Yeah.
Tamara Mowry actually played the voice of Misty Knight in one episode.
Oh, really? Huh.
I'm like so ready to YouTube that and just see how they drew Misty Knight. And like just hear the voice and just be like, oh my God, it's a show for kids, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm not expecting any type of MCU like acting.
Yeah.
Or anything quality. Just
yeah, it's something
for the kids, some watered down for the kids.
Yeah, something quaint from the 90s.
Right. Miles Morales.
Of course, I still got to read his comics, man.
Yeah. And I still believe I can do it.
No, you can't, Carl. I'm not.
If I can get in enough shape, and if they can make Michael Douglas and Kurt Russell look young, and Ant-Man and Guardians 2, they can shave a good 10 years off of me. 10, 15 years off of me.
Well, Carl, the first thing you got to do is you got to go to acting school or take some serious acting classes.
I'll be willing to do that.
And I don't think you'll get the role, man. I mean, no. I mean, you're not Donald Glover, so.
Donald Glover's the same age as me, and he's not playing Miles Morales.
Yeah, I know.
He plays in Spider-Man Homecoming, he's actually Miles Morales' uncle.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Because I know fans wanted him to play Miles Morales.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carl, they're going to give the role to some up-and-coming, youngster.
Everybody hates Chris, that's what I heard. I think he was actually, they were looking at him to do it, too.
Nah, I can't see that.
I couldn't see it either.
Nothing against Tyler Williams, I believe his name
Tyler
is.
James Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing against him, but as Miles Morales, I do not see it at all. Nah. Just give it to someone new, someone unknown.
But I think they really do have to be half black and half Hispanic as well, because that's what Miles Morales is.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
They can find somebody.
Oh yeah, they should. You know, I mean, to have accurate casting, they ought to. So that disqualifies you from playing the character.
I've been raised around Dominicans. I can pick it up.
That doesn't mean anything. Shit.
It's like, oh, you know who's actually playing his voice in Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, who?
Shamik Moore.
Oh,
dope.
yeah, nice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did mention that once during one of the news and headlines.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Storm's a dope character, and now with the Fox and Disney merger,
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see like who they would cast.
I think maybe they'll still use.
They better not use no goddamn Alexandra Shipp.
What's wrong with Alexander Shipp?
She's like bright in 3 shades of white.
I mean,
she is beige.
So
Storm was not beige.
hey, listen, you do realize that all us black folk are different shades, right?
Correct, but I mean, but Storm wasn't that light.
It's a different iteration of the character.
I didn't even believe in her in X-Men Apocalypse. Okay, give me somebody I can believe in.
Don't blame her. Blame the script.
And then, not to mention, so it's pretty well known that, especially with all the memes going on, that Storm is actually supposed to be married to the Black Panther.
Yeah.
But what I also end up learning too is that Nakia actually turns bad.
Really?
Yeah, and Lupita Nyong'o actually said that if they do decide to bring Storm as T'Challa's love interest, she would want to go bad.
That would be intriguing. Be most intriguing.
See, exactly. Quincy Thomas, Storm is chocolate, bro.
Okay, listen, man. Hey, let's give Alexander Shipp a chance. Yes, she
got a chance.
I mean, she
got a chance.
Don't blame her. Blame the script for Apocalypse. It wasn't her fault. But like, give her a chance to shine in the Dark Phoenix movie coming out, which I'm sure is not going to be all that. But still, give her a fair chance. And I will say, give her a chance to wash away the stink of that Aaliyah Lifetime movie. Okay.
Jeez, oh my God, why'd you bring that up? I still can't believe I watched that. Hey, Quincy Thompson. Nope. Thomas, excuse me.
See, I tried, man. Listen, I'm just saying.
Another role that I could see myself playing, if I'm not even gonna go for it because it's DC and they'll mess it up. Static Shock. Static Shock was a cool character. I think they would have. I think I was told that. It's okay, Vig. We know you team light skin.
What can I say? What can I say? Anyway, yeah, Static Shock.
Static Shock. I thought about it. I was like, I could play Static Shock, but I'm like, it's a DCU. They probably have to like horribly edit out my goatee that I worked so hard to get.
Well, isn't Static Shock like a 14-year-old or something?
He's young, but
yeah, he's a high schooler, Carl. You're 34, man.
33. 33. I know he is, my life. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
But yeah, I would love to see a Static Shock movie or even a television series.
But I would say it'd be better off as a television series. I think that could be something that the CW can get right, because I honestly would have thought I'm sure Black Lightning, from what I heard, brings in Static Shock, but I think they would have been better off and actually getting a better response by just bringing in Static Shock himself.
Yeah.
And then later on bringing Black Lightning, or possibly having Black Lightning be part of the show as like a mentor.
That'd be dope. Yeah, kind of tying the two together.
Yeah, because Static Shock honestly is a much more popular character.
Yeah.
Than Black Lightning.
Indeed.
Yeah. And last on my list. Actually, no, it's not. I got one more after this. Eric Killmonger.
Yes.
Hey, Auntie. Yeah, oh my God. I had to Google that scene and just watch a bad copy of that scene on YouTube.
Oh,
It was hilarious.
I managed to see Black Panther twice. I saw it a second time last weekend.
I wish I could.
Man, it was just so good. Michael B. Jordan, man, definitely the best villain in the MCU.
And I actually heard that it's actually better if you do see it when you do see it a second time.
It is. I agree.
Like I've heard many people say that they went to go see it twice and they loved it even more the second time.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's the same was true for me. Like especially with Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, like just seeing his motivations again, and especially like his father, why his father
Randall.
Randall, or like he never turned away from Wakanda. Like he said that black people are over policed, they're oppressed. Well, we have the resources to help our people. They are pretty much our own. And T'Chaka was like, nah, F that, son. And then that's like one of the best like origin stories for a villain I've seen.
Yeah, I would say that. And then my last one, this is actually a character who I actually did a little bit of research on because I heard them mention it in another podcast that I listened to. And his name is Brother Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's had some run-ins with the Black Panther, but he's actually like more of a Doctor Strange villain.
Okay.
So he's basically his powers are voodoo, but with mysticism.
Yeah.
Involved. So it's basically like Doctor Strange's powers, but just in a darker realm.
Okay.
So I would love to see him in the MCU, and I will campaign that Michael K. Williams from The Wire play him.
Michael K. Williams is that dude.
Exactly. He can play that dark character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can.
And I think I think he would just embody that role.
Yeah, and it would be a great Netflix series.
It would. It would be an expensive one.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But Netflix, like, they're literally pumping out, I think, over 500 original shows and movies this year alone. So they have the money; they could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to see Michael K. Williams in a superhero film of any kind, that'd be dope.
Yeah, especially like a character like Brother Voodoo, and with Michael K. Williams playing him, like he will strike fear into kids.
He would, yeah.
Maybe even adults watching this.
Hey, I'm down for that. Let's do it. Marvel, get on them.
So that's my list.
Yeah, you know what? I must say that pretty much everything that you hit on my list was on my list too. So I really can't say. Although I do have maybe two other additions.
Go ahead.
Of course, we can't forget Falcon, Sam Wilson.
Anthony Mack is doing it. I don't think he's that great of a character, but he's a good supporting character.
He is. And although I've heard good things about his run in the comics as Captain America.
Yeah.
Which I am curious about. I do like.
No, keep going.
I do like Anthony Mackie's turn as the Falcon. Like that. It's just an ordinary dude, just an ordinary man with like some cool tech.
Yeah.
That putting it to use. So he's definitely a good. I don't want to even want to say psychic, but a good supporting character for Captain America.
Yeah. And I was thinking, I think I do have his Marvel, Sam Wilson's Captain America, his hip hop variant cover.
Yeah, based on the ASAP Rocky cover.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it.
Yeah, that's a dope cover.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And also Also, there was a couple characters from the DC universe. One that I've played as in Injustice 2, Firestorm.
He's fun to play. No, Blue Beetle is actually the one I like playing.
Yeah, Blue Beetle is definitely a stronger character. Firestorm, I don't know much about except that he's a fusion of two characters, kind of like one of those characters in Dragon Ball Z, or two of those characters.
Yeah, like Go Tanks or Gogeta.
Yeah. But maybe less cooler. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I will say, and yes, this is referencing a garbage movie, but I do appreciate the character Amanda Waller played by Viola Davis in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
I do like her no nonsense villainy where she's all about getting the job done, no matter like ethics do not mean a thing to her. Like she will murder you in cold blood if it means getting the mission done. And I like how Amanda Waller in the comics and even in the DC animated shows is like morally ambiguous, where she's sort of like a person who is definitely overtly manipulative. Like, you know, like you agree that she's on the right side of the law, so to speak, but you don't agree with her methods.
By any means necessary method.
Yeah, and that kind of makes her interesting too, as like a weird, unique, a compelling power figure. You know, it's more than your average stock, you know, boss who gives orders. Like there's more to her character, and you know, Viola Davis is one of the greatest actors of our generation, and I wish, Rhode Island's own, and I wish she was better served with a better movie. But you know what? I think she was one of the very few bright spots in Suicide Squad.
Definitely.
So, you know what? If the DCU does reboot, I hope they keep her, Viola Davis, Amanda Waller in the rebooted films.
Yeah, at this point, I can't see anybody else playing her.
Well, let me see. I think, maybe. Well, Angela Bassett. She's playing Ramonda.
Dude, that is Queen Ramonda.
Queen Ramonda, yeah.
DC better leave that girl alone.
Alfred Woodard, she's
she's Mariah Dillon, and she's nailing it.
Dang. Octavia Spencer?
No.
Maybe?
No.
I mean,
that was Willie Battle's mother and Coach Carter. I get more of a mother feel for her. I would love for her to play for like her or oh my God, what is it? It's like, or Jennifer Lewis to like play my TV mama.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Lewis. Yeah.
And I don't even see her do it because they're like they have that mother role.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lewis, she played that stern, like no nonsense mother with sass.
Yeah, that's kind of like my mother. But my mom has less sass though. My mom's a little more humble than that. Right? No, she played a humble mother once, and stern yet humble mother. And it's a movie you probably never watched, but I went to see this on a date years ago. It's called The Cookout with Eve. It was it was kind of just let's go see this. All right.
Oh yeah, is it one of those straight to video?
No, it was in the theater.
Wow. Oh yes, Quincy Thomas mentioned. I can't believe I forgot this character, Isaiah Bradley, the first Captain America. He was known as Truth,
right,
in the comics. I've never read Truth,
me neither,
but I heard a lot of good things about it, and that was one I've always wanted to read for years, but I never ever got around to.
Looks like we need to take a trip to Rococo's.
Yeah, in fact, if Rococo's has it, I'll pick it up. If not, then I can order it. But Truth is one that I've always wanted to read. In fact, I remember there was an excerpt I read from the comic where Isaiah Bradley showed up at this some sort of event honoring some heroes, black heroes of the past, and Isaiah Bradley was there, and then Wolverine, and then I think Wolverine was there, and some other character was like, "Hey, who's that guy? Why are they honoring him?" And they point to Isaiah Bradley, and Wolverine said something like, "Oh, you don't know?" And then something I might be misremembering, but there was something. I was a scene like that. So, but yeah, you know what? I would love to see, and since Marvel is getting into more political themes in their movies a bit, I would love to see an Isaiah Bradley Truth movie in the MCU.
That'd be dope. That'll be dope. It can probably happen in the next phase.
Yeah, they could set it up where Steve Rogers was the first successful super soldier, but then it's well, what happened with the real first test run, and then what happened to that dude?
Yeah, that
would be a real interesting story.
Also, I do want to bring in Kyrie, who was in the Son of Shaolin paperback that we read.
Oh yes, I can't wait for book 2, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, it should be out by now.
Yeah, but Kyrie
again. Let us know.
Yeah, Kairu's a dope character, man. And you know what, Son of Shaolin? If that would you rather see Son of Shaolin if it was adapted as a movie, as a live action, or animated?
I don't see both. Why not?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's definitely it got picked up by the Rock's production company.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Indeed. But yeah, man, lots of great black characters, heroes and villains in the comic world,
Yeah,
man.
and there's more to come with, Marvel becoming more diverse. Like I can see that there's definitely going to be more to come. So I'm going to get into question of the week.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go back for the past 2 weeks because last week I didn't read everybody's answers, and when I listened back, I didn't realize. That's when I realized it. So the first week it was in honor of Valentine's Day. So who was your favorite superhero couple?
Okay.
So John Aponic said Phoenix and Cyclops, and Phoenix Horizon 1614 said Wolverine and Jean Grey or Rogue and Gambit. All right, and I think I want to say there was some on the Facebook. Geez, I post a lot since then. Okay, I don't think I can. That's a lot of scrolling I would have to do. So I'll just do the Instagram for now. And then last week's was who was your favorite black superhero? And we actually had some good responses to this. Gotham City Angel says, shout outs to her. She says, I love them all, but in the end, I'd have to go with the real Trevor Noah. I like Trevor Noah too. I want to read his book.
Oh, yeah.
John Aponic says, Storm in a Heartbeat. I'm actually surprised he chose a Marvel character.
Yeah.
A close runner-up is Jon Stewart as Green Lantern, but she was so great in X-Men. Pedro Segura said Spawn. And then Shelton Lamar Lyons 3 says Black Panther.
Okay. Good answers.
And I know there was some oh, man.
Oh, some tweets?
Yeah, there was some tweets about it. That was actually a good one, though.
Yeah. You know what? I would say, like, I've heard some talk about getting Jon Stewart, the Jon Stewart Black Panther, Jon Stewart Green Lantern in a live action DC film. And I heard that, like, I've seen like some photoshops of like Tyrese in the
Tyrese was interested in doing it.
Yeah. Which at this point, man, you might as well make it a comedy because people are just gonna meme the hell out of it.
Oh, of course. Okay, so on Twitter, so at AB_PMV88 says after the movie Black Panther, but got to mention Luke Cage, Storm, and Ultimate Nick Fury. Does Jesus Shuttleworth count? # he got game.
Denzel Washington. Yo, He Got Game was a decent movie, man.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Friend of the show, Curtis Parvin at Dollar Store Films says Blade.
Of course.
And Rock Cocos, Reagan, says Luke Cage.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Indeed.
So, this week's question of the week: which Saturday morning cartoon would you like to see get a reboot?
Oh, wow. Saturday morning cartoon. Dang. You know what? I'm going to go with Dog City.
I don't remember Dog City.
No, it was a Saturday morning cartoon on Fox. Yeah.
I don't remember it.
No?
Was it short-lived? Did it get canceled? Like Fox has
I think
to do?
I think it lasted a good while, like a couple of years. It was decent.
Okay. Gargoyles.
That was Saturday morning? I thought it was more like weekdays.
That was weekdays.
Yeah.
You know what? Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah, I remember Biker Mice from Mars.
I would like to see. I would like to see how this new generation would react to them.
Yeah, and I remember the Super Nintendo game, the racing game for Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was really fun.
Oh man! So that's going to be on our social medias over the next couple of weeks. I mean, for the next couple of days, like a day or two. So yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Codex Prime Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review, or you can just simply email us at codexprimepodcast@gmail.com. Anything else I'm forgetting? Google Play, SoundCloud.
iTunes, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube as well. Also, and I got a couple of shout outs I want to give.
Yeah.
One to Mr. Kev for It's Hair. You know, he actually hooked me up with this "In Us We Trust" T-shirt. It's basically a clothing line that he started, where most of the proceeds will usually go to various different charities in our community. So I'm glad to support that. And also, I want to give a big shout out to Bunny, our homegirl Brooklyn Bunny, but at Bunny Might Game You on all the social media websites. She gave us a shout out on her podcast that just relaunched, Girls Can't Geek, along with Jessica Eve and SD Trinity.
Yeah.
So big shout outs to her for doing that.
Yeah, and to Bunny, my name is Victor Omoayo, not Omar.
Yeah, I had a good laugh at that.
Yeah, but thank you for the shout out for the podcast all the same.
Yes, and also big shout out. They just tuned in to Zachary Jean Vasquez saying hello from the Philippines.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, wow, from the Philippines. Oh, thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our show for this week.
Yeah, that's our show for this week. Join us next week for episode 112.
112.
Yeah.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're going to be talking about our unpopular opinions.
And Victor is full of them.
I'm not full of unpopular opinions, man. I'll say this. The only problem that
No. Save it for next week. Because you're going to get some hate.
No. I'm just going to say this. The only problem some people have with my opinions is that, oh, Victor's a hater because his opinions are different from mine. Therefore, I'm going to dismiss him by calling him a hater. That's all it is. But, we're going to get into our unpopular opinions next week on all sorts of things like movies, video games, TV, food, wrestling, culture, life, whatever, books. Sports teams, Dallas. Anyway.
Kiss my ass.
But yes, thank you for tuning in. And as always, we will catch you on the flip. Peace out, nerds.
Later.